Salve. Greetings from Malta. This is the voice of the new right, the voice of Imperium Europa. In this, our podcast number 2, we shall be discussing the idea of Imperium Europa. The white race has always been a pioneering race, a race of explorers, inventors. We went to the moon, placed objects on Mars and Venus. We are eternally inquisitive, outbound, bold. However, we are also rent by eternal fratricides, conflicts, conflagrations, always white against white, cousin fighting cousin. World War I and World War II are the most tragic example of this slaughter. Millions of whites, the best, squandered on the battlefields of Europe. And what is more, squandered senselessly. Some great minds have thought about all this and devised solutions. Sir Oswald Mosley, the great British politician and soldier, came out with the idea of Europeanation, where Europe would be one nation from the Channel to the then demarcation line of the Cold War, Berlin. Later on, Thiriart improved on Sir Oswald Mosley and suggested a quasi-federal Europe stretching from the Channel to Vladivostok, implying in his idea the exclusion of the Anglo-Saxons, Britain, the USA and Australia. The present Eurasian idea, an improvement on Thiriart, an idea propagated by Dugin, Tulaev and others, again comes up with this positive thought of a Europe from the Channel to Vladivostok. But it is clear that if we do that, eventually there will again be a split of global proportions, another war between the Anglo-Saxons, the Atlanticists, the Thessalocratics and the Tellurics, primarily the Germans and the Russians. Now, Julius Evola, the great aristocratic thinker, says that the Imperium idea could have been implemented around 850 BC, when the roaming tribes over the vast lands of the European continent could have coagulated and forged an imperium then. Had it been done, we would have spared ourselves all the subsequent tragedies. Unfortunately, these tribes coagulated into the city-states, Athens, Corinth, Sparta, with ensuing rivalries and conflicts. Now we in Malta, we of Imperium Europa, think that the time is ripe now for an Imperium Europa, an Imperium idea which within itself gives space to a libertarian dominium status. That is, an imperium within which there is a vast dominion status of regions and peoples. The regions and peoples would be completely free to devise their own laws and maintain their own customs, but above them there stands the Imperium, with absolute power invested in the elite. This elite, this Imperium side, the masculine side of politics, Imperium masculine, Dominium feminine, this masculine side will concern itself with only 5 items: spirituality, race, high culture, high politics, and territory. An Imperium girdling the globe, 2 white rings north and south of the equator, Britain to Vladivostok, across the Bering Strait through a tunnel under the ice, Finland comprising Alaska, Canada, and the present United States of America, huge swathes of land in Latin America, Australia, New Zealand, and of course South Africa, at least from the Zambezi to Cape Agulhas. Imperium Europa, within itself embracing a duality of masculine and feminine, Imperium and Dominium. Everything in the universe, in the cosmos, is male and female, and politics falls under that duality as well. The tantric principles apply also to high politics. In Malta, we have 2 movements symbolizing this duality. We have Imperium Europa, the masculine side that concerns itself with infusing this idea in Brussels, galvanizing patriotic forces in order to turn this mercantile Europe into an aristocratic, spiritually oriented continent. And Viva Malta, with its dynamic website vivamalta.org. Viva Malta tackles Malta's problems, the local problems, nationhood, economy, society, environment, and a myriad of other problems. These movements, Imperium Europa and Viva Malta, are both parallel and convergent, convergenze parallele. Again, this duality. And one day, in the not too distant future, they will eventually converge upon victory, upon the installation of the Imperium on a planetary basis. Ave